Great blade. This is a Nutnfancy DuraCoated Benchmade Model 710 McHenry Williams. Awesome blade. I've had a review out on this knife for some time now. I may annotate it. I have said this before. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but here it comes again. When you DuraCoat one of your blades, you do the job right. It takes on a sense of coolness that you have to experience. It really transforms it. It just turns it into a very cool and special knife for you. That's wearing those Veltor foliage green liners. I've covered this before in that DuraCoated knives update from the Nutnfancy workshop. You'll see that in the annotation too. Cool blade. This has been riding with me in the pocket on a lot of those Nutnfancy tactical shoots. Maybe you've caught glimpses of it in the pocket. The 710. Great large tactical folder. And also using a lot lately is the Endura 4 Spyderco. This one's not coated in the same color. You can tell they're a little bit different. This one's wearing Tango Down Flat Desert Earth. Remember I said that the colorations are a little bit confusing. This is not a flat color. It's a satin. You can see it has sheen. I do still think that a satin finish is probably the best to put on a hard use item like a knife, maybe a blade, suppressor, gun, what have you. I don't think you really give up a lot in tacticalness, you know. I don't think you're going to get a lot of sheen off that. But anyways, I use this to introduce yet another project fresh from the Nutnfancy workshop. Great blades. Endura 4 710 undergoing a lot of use. And another favorite of mine is the Leatherman Charge. That's right. Remember I told you guys I was going to attack this as a DuraCoating project. There have been some very adamant TMPers out there that have been impatiently, not patiently, but impatiently waiting. Well, let me tell you, sometimes I bite off more than I can chew. And DuraCoating a Leatherman Charge multi-tool. This is the older TI version. The TTI version is out. You'll see an annotation. My previous review on this outstanding and most favorite of Nutnfancy's multi-tool. What a great multi-tool it is. But this is a big project if you're going to DuraCoat it. I know because I've done it. And you have to take this thing apart. There's lots of pieces. You have to completely understand the layering concept that Leatherman utilizes for the Charge TI to put it back together properly. That's step one. Step two is you put all the pieces together in something like that so you don't lose them. You lose a piece and you're kind of hosed. So you contact Leatherman and says, yeah, I need like some washers and stuff. They'll go, dude, what are you taking apart the multi-tool for? You're not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? So don't lose nothing. And then the surface preparation. As you take the blades off, the inner parts, you're going to have to determine, hey, which of all these tools inside am I going to multi or I'm going to DuraCoat, and which do I leave? Well, that's what I did. I took this as an additional Charge TI that I have, and it does not look bad as it comes from Leatherman. That's a good looking multi-tool. It's got those titanium slabs, and that's all they are, is slabs for perhaps a little bit more comfort in holding it, and also marketing. It does not do much to lighten up the multi-tool. So let's not kid ourselves. But as it comes, decent. But it's not special. This is special. Okay? One of a kind. At least for me. So is the 710. So let's transform that into that. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. It's a big project. But in the end, what you come out with, drum roll please, is the Nutnfancy Charge TI Tactical Multi-Tool. DuraCoated. That's right. That's Tactical Desert Earth. That's a coloration you've seen with some other things that I've coated. Anytime you see the word tactical, that means it's ultra flat from DuraCoat. So it's a tactical color. That means, as you can see, there's no sheen to it at all. And look how cool that Charge TI has turned out. From this to that. It's a nightmare project. I'm not going to lie to you. I do not recommend it for those who don't have lots of patience. First off, you're going to have to find some security Torx bits. I ordered some off Amazon.com. They look like something like that. Have a little hole in the driver bit that will index with that pin that allows you to take apart the multi-tool and get the screws out. You'll need 2 bits because there's one on each side. Oh, and by the way, I stripped this one bit out as I was tightening it back up, so that kind of sucked. Took it apart and prepped it, laboriously shot it, and no, I didn't cover everything in DuraCoat. There's some things I left for contrast, and I thought it would just work out better that way. The lanyard clip, for one, left in bright. The file, left it in bright. I think it looks better that way, and well, obviously it's going to function that way. You don't want to shoot this with DuraCoat. That's an abrasive surface. You'll just fill it and make it non-functional. And then as we open it up inside, there's your pliers, DuraCoated, completely taken apart, sanded, prepped, re-oiled with rim oil. It just has transformed that multi-tool, I think. Very cool. And you can see like the bit holder. By the way, I still love bit holders. Here's an aside. I've noticed that Leatherman has come out with that Super Tool 300. Doesn't have bit holders. It just has dedicated flat blade and Phillips drivers. I like the bit holder that I can swap it out. So the Charge TI still remains, or TTI currently, remains my favorite multi-tool. Let's see, on this side, I left the scissors in bright. Too much of a hassle to DuraCoat all that. Plus, you're an interior tool. So I was like, should I coat that? No, I'm not going to go to the hassle. So it's fine. And then the rest, as you can see, DuraCoated. I have noted that, here's a couple tips if you decide to tackle this project. It will kind of make the extraction of your tools a little bit more stickier. In other words, the main blade I have noticed does not deploy, there's the serrated one, it does not deploy quite as quickly as it did before. But this is not, an automatic blade. It's not a defensive blade. This is a multi-tool. It's an everyday carry tool, like so. Other things that I noticed, as you put it back in, there are certain washers, as you will see in photographs there, that have to go between these layers of tools. Make sure you reinsert those. The silver washers, as far as I can tell, go between this driver bit and your interior tools. The bronze washers go up against the liner and any blade. So this blade right here, and I hope I'm not boring you guys, but the bronze washer goes right there. Let me point with that. So it goes right there, and that helps make it a little bit more fluid in deployment. Very cool. Frustrating project, I will not lie to you. It took me probably an hour and a half of solid work to put this sucker back together. Hours of prep time. At least 2 hours. It's a big project. It doesn't seem like that. So if you want a cool Charge, TTI, or any other multi-tool, Swiss tool, you name it, Gerber tools, if you want to make it cool and special with a DuraCoat job, I will tell you it's possible. Anything is possible, just about, if you're willing to put in the work. And Leatherman, if you're watching, don't know if you are, but if you are watching, why don't you make something like this? Save your users a lot of work. Yeah, you make some black oxide coated multi-tools, and those are cool. I like them. But this is cooler. A lot cooler. Now you can make the case, dude, gosh, if you drop that in the woods, you're going to lose it. Yeah, so what? I mean, I'm not going to lose it. I'll keep track of it, trust me. I could have put a real bright orange lanyard on it for that, but I just kind of wanted to complete the look. Maybe, you say, well, why do you have that bright? You could DuraCoat that. I don't care. And finally, it needs a cool carry case. And this ain't it. I mean, here's just a generic knife case. And I rarely use the Leatherman cases that they come with. I'll put in something else, especially if it's going on a tactical vest or a loadout system of some type. So what I chose, found it at the military clothing store, a Gerber ACU pattern knife sheath. Doesn't that look cool? Yeah. And on the back, MOLLE capable. So soldiers, heads up. Great sheath. And what do you know? Charge, TTI, in my case, TI fits in there. Perfect. And that is a tactical multi-tool a la Leatherman variety, Charge variety that will impress your friends and provide some wicked service for you. And if you're in a theater of operations where you can't have anything glinting off like that, maybe you have a DuraCoat project waiting for you. It's worth it. A lot of work. Worth it. Tactical multi-tool, Nutnfancy. Guess what? More knife reviews coming your way. No, I will never give up the knife reviews. See ya. Signing off. Out.